We will continue to support and work with Brown-Forman in any way that we can to continue to strengthen them and every other business in this industry. There is a bright future for these companies.
Louisville Mayor Craig Greenberg this morning responding to Brown-Forman's announcement that it's laying off hundreds of employees, many of whom are right here in Louisville. According to the Louisville-based company, 12% of its staff will be cut worldwide, resulting in nearly 650 employees.
210 Louisville workers will lose their jobs by April at the Brown-Forman cooperage located by the airport. That's where they produce the bourbon barrels for the bourbon. That plant is going to be closing. Brown-Forman says these cuts will help save the company up to $80 million per year. Well, the bourbon industry has been seeing remarkable growth for many years now. One local owner is Victor Yarbrough. He and his brothers launched Brough Brothers Distillery in Louisville in 2019. You were recently named one of the fastest growing brands in America. I just really want to ask you what's running through your mind right now about this news about Brown-Forman, family-controlled such an institution here in Louisville.
Well, I really can't comment on Brown-Forman per se. They have their own corporation, own business, but as a whole, as an industry, what we can say, I still believe the industry is strong. I just believe with the tailwinds we're encountering now, just a combination of things. You have just the economy as a whole. You have these impending tariffs. So I just think you have a combination of things that are coming at the same time that are making the direction of bourbon kind of tricky for the most part.
What are your thoughts about the tariffs? And I think a lot of people thought that's what this is. They're worried about the tariffs. What do you think?
100%. So we were actually impacted by the first round of tariffs. So Brough Brothers are being exported to the UK because we started as an import-export company in the UK. And we literally had to pull out the marketplace. And Europe is a huge market for bourbon, American spirits in particular, bourbon. And without that market, adding an additional 50%, that's like saying if your eggs are $9 and their eggs are now $15. And you just can't compete with that.
I was asking you how you're doing, your company that you just founded not too many years ago. You said you're in the middle of an expansion at Waterfront Park.
We are. So we have a new distillery opening in Waterfront Park. We're scheduled to be about February, early March for completion for that. So we'll be opening that. It's roughly 15,000 square feet.
You're going to stick with it?
Absolutely. This is a long-term game. Again, this is a legacy we're building, and bourbon in general is a marathon, so it's not a sprint. And many of these companies have been around for hundreds of years, so this is not going away. You know, every industry, every type of industry has their rainy days, and I don't think we're seeing a light shower here. Not a thunderstorm.
You were talking about the economy as well, and I know one store owner in one of our reporters' packages was talking about, you know, if somebody has to choose going to the grocery and getting more food versus getting a bottle of bourbon, that's what they're going to do. So that is part of it.
Absolutely, it's disposable income. So if your eggs are $9 and you need to buy, some bourbon, you're going to go with the eggs, and unfortunately, that's just what it is. So we have to figure out a way to drive the economy forward.
We saw all kinds of people coming in the bourbon rage and the craze. A lot of younger people coming in, but are you noticing, is that changing? That's what we're hearing on the nationwide, that fewer of the latest generation is even drinking not just alcohol but bourbon.
Yeah, I think that's a combination of, again, outside the industry, there's other variables. So you have, just drinking in general. I know the Surgeon Warning General just came out and said, hey, maybe putting cancer warning labels on alcohol. You also have just other alternatives to alcohol, period. So it's just a matter of just kind of make sure we navigate that industry, in particular those other variables, and kind of diversify. So I think that's really it. I mean, at the end of the day, I think that's what
I guess the bright spot is that bourbon tourism here is strong, especially in Kentucky.
Absolutely, it's phenomenal. So I don't foresee that dying anytime soon or having any type of issues. You have more and more distilleries here opening. You have more trade tasting rooms opening here. So this is something that Louisville and Kentucky in particular has done a great job of promoting.
We'll talk about that. There is a disconnect. You're right. You can barely get an appointment to go tour a distillery, and now we have the bourbon industry shedding this. Do you think you've hit a saturation point with the number of distilleries opening out there?
No, not necessarily. Not necessarily, because again, they're distilleries first and foremost. So that means they can manufacture other items beyond bourbon. So we have a gin that we manufacture. It's Brough Brothers Botanical Gin. You have vodka. We have rum. So there's things that we can make outside of bourbon that would keep. So if bourbon is maybe having a small decline, it's literally like 1%. 2023. Maybe it's around 4%. That's not a lot, the grand scheme of things. So ultimately, there's ways, and many companies have other products as well. So it's just one of those nuances that you work through.
I was going to ask you if more companies are diversifying in their products. Then
Absolutely.
Kind of
So you
that.
have a variety of, from, like I said, vodka, rum, gin. There's a numerous things to
Do you worry about the bourbon tourism industry catching up to this decline in alcohol sales next?
Not at all. Not at all, because tourism is an experience. So people come for an experience, and with the amount of great distilleries out there, you have great organizations like the KDA pushing the bourbon tourism. Not at all. I don't see any issues there.
Well, Victor, thank you so much. We want to thank you very much for coming in and your perspective. Congratulations on your business, which is growing and expanding right here in our hometown.
Thank you again. I appreciate the time.
That's some great news.
Thank you.
Thanks
I
so
appreciate
much.
that.